Super Rugby Aotearoa, the Blues for 2021. Is it going to be our year? Blues fans, we've been saying it for a while. We will see. I'm going to go over the squad, the fixtures and the predictions for this one for Super Rugby Aotearoa for the Blues. There are a few comings and goings. And you guys can let me know your thoughts on how you reckon the Blues might go in 2021 in the Aotearoa season. In terms of last season, I think it was probably a success in terms of the Aotearoa portion of the competition. Obviously, we didn't get that final match against the Crusaders. The Crusaders had sealed things up with the final week anyway, but the changes in format means there's at least be a final for this year. I would say final is probably a target for the Blues looking at the squad, but as I mentioned, they have had some comings and goings. So props, they've got Hodgman, Laulala, Lei, Renata, Tuinukuafe and Tungafasi. Lei has come in from the Auckland Mitre 10 Cup squad, and Laulala has signed on from the Chiefs, so I would say that's a bit of a boon for the Blues, man. Like, it's previously we've really struggled to attract big name players, but in recent times we've pinched Tuinukuafe from the Chiefs. We pinched obviously Bowden Barrett from the Canes. So it seems like top players are kind of more willing to sign here now that the Blues aren't that bottom team in Super Rugby in New Zealand. Knock on wood. We were that team for a long time. Last season we weren't, which was pretty refreshing. They have got something in return of the Chiefs. So Sione Mafaleo has swapped places. So he's traded to the Chiefs. Not traded, but you know what I mean. They've kind of swapped places. Lyndon Muth and Joe Walsh are also not in the squad for 2021. Hookers, we've got Kurt Eklund, who's probably going to be the number one guy because James Parsons retired. Remember, he's having some medical issues, largely concussion, so he's going to stick to being a pundit. So Eklund is the guy. Nuia is the probably second choice guy, and Soane Vikena, don't remember him, but I'm sure he played Mitre 10 Cup, is the third choice guy in the squad this year. As I mentioned, Parsons is the main guy out. Locks, we're pretty well serviced, I think. We've got Tuipulotu, who has kind of been our main guy. He stepped up last year. I think last year was probably his best year I've ever seen him in a Blues jersey. We've still got Josh Goodhue, Suakauli Tuioti. We've got in Sam Derry, and we've still got Jacob Pearce as well. So it's not... I mean, obviously you could take a Brody Retallick if one was available, but I think we're all right. All right for locks in that department. Loosies, we're pretty stacked. We're pretty stacked with loose forwards. We got Blake Gibson, who's pretty good in his own right. We got Dalton Papali'i, who's kind of always in the All Blacks fringes at the moment, and he's pretty versatile and he can play multiple positions. We got Tom Robinson, who maybe is an All Blacks bolter at some point, but the All Blacks are also pretty stacked for loosies, so it's not one where you'd be holding your breath, but he's had a good last couple of seasons. Hoskins Satutu looked like one of the best players for the All Blacks last year when he finally got some minutes. Akira Ioane finally stepped up last year as well. He made his All Blacks debut last year finally after being on the fringe of the All Black squad for ages. He stepped up his work rate. He was having a proper season. And we've also signed Dylan Hunt from the Highlanders. So he's coming back to Auckland, and we've signed Tane Plumtree as well. I haven't seen him play, but I know he's the son of Coach Plumtree. So, man, that All Blacks, slip of the tongue, that one. The Blues, Lucy's, are full of All Blacks, put it that way. We got loads of depth. Loads. Remember, Tony Lamborn's not playing this year. I think he's injured. I saw a report that said like he turned down a few offers because he's still recovering. I'm not 100% though. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Number 9, we got Finlay Christie, Sam Nock, and Jonathan Ruru. Same guys as we had last season. So it'll be interesting to see who kind of is the number one guy for the Blues in that position. Number 10, obviously, Bowden Barrett. Mostly played 15 last season, but he's off in Japan. He's doing his sabbatical. So we've got Otsede Black, Stephen Perofeta, and Harry Plummer. Plummer, they really didn't play at 10. They kind of flirted him on the bench in 12, which is a bit weird because he's a pretty small guy for a 12. But anyway, it can be done. Otsede Black's probably going to be the guy. Perofeta maybe get fullback, maybe gets bench. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I think Aussie the Black's going to be your guy, and he did a good job last season. Pretty accurate with the boot. Pretty good distribution game. Not a huge running game from him, but he does what he does pretty well. Midfielders, we got TJ Fa'ane, we got Rico Ioane, Tanielu Talea, and Bryce Heem. He's come back from France, and that's a bit of a random one. Remember, Joe Marchant went back to England, but he didn't really get a chance to have much impact with the Blues because Rico was playing at 13. So yeah, the midfield, I rate TJ. He's a really good defensive organizer. He's not been the biggest guy in terms of like a Mape style busting it up number 12, and we've got Rico there who's determined to make himself a midfielder. He's got extra bit of gas, maybe. I know he doesn't seem to have his gas that he had when he was a winger, but he's still quicker than most guys in the 13 jersey. He's burned a few. So hopefully he can get his positioning all sorted, and then he could become the 13 we want him to become. And outside backs, got Caleb Clark, had a pretty good year for the All Blacks last year. AJ Lamb has come in. Makalai has come in. Narawa has come in. Why do I feel like one of these guys got injured in preseason? Someone remind me. Ratudi Maivuki Nipkins. My old man was talking him up. I didn't watch enough of the Mitre 10 Cup last season to remember. Mark Talea had a hell of a season in Super Rugby, though, last year. But he was one that kind of started off really strong and then kind of waned a bit towards the end of the season as people started to pick him up. And Zahn Sullivan is there as well. So it will be interesting to see who is fullback. I can't help but wonder if they play Black and Perofeta. I don't know. But we will see. Remember, Leon McDonald is still the coach. Matt Duffy's gone over to Japan, so he won't be playing fullback. That's for sure. I still think this Blues squad, despite losing Barrett, who mostly played fullback, Lamborn was kind of a fringe guy for the Blues. Marchant, as I mentioned, was fringe. Matt Duffy was a kind of regular starter, but I think we can survive. James Parsons is obviously a heck of a lot of experience that's gone, but pretty happy with the Blues squad for the most part. Leon McDonald seems to have the team on the right track, so we will see how things go. They've put a picture of their ins and outs, the main ones that they've mentioned. I think it's pretty much the same guys I just went over. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, who you're excited to see and who you're disappointed to see go. In terms of the fixtures, I think we do okay. We don't get the best fixtures run. We start away to the Hurricanes. That's going to be a tough game. And then we've got the bye. So if the Blues lose the first game and then go into the bye week, you're starting the third round potentially quite far behind everyone else, which mentally is maybe a bit of a tough one. But then Highlanders and Crusaders at home round 3 and round 4, those become very important games if they drop the first one. If they win against the Hurricanes away and then can win against the Highlanders at home, you can maybe forgive a loss against the Crusaders, or goodness knows we hope not. Round 5 away to the Chiefs, round 6 home to the Hurricanes. That's the halfway point in the season for the Blues in terms of the bye. The bye's in round 7, and then away to the Highlanders, away to the Crusaders. If the Blues haven't made their way up the table by round 8 and 9, they may be in a bit of trouble. Sure, they got round 10 home to the Chiefs, but their trip to the South Island in the final or the penultimate round and then round 8 will also be pretty tough. There's not that many games, so there's not that much room. There's not much margin for error in this one, but that's the nature of the beast. If you want to be the best team, you got to be the best team. So you got to beat everyone that's sent forward to you. So yeah, pretty happy with the Blues squad. There's some depth there. The Lucies look great. I think we're not too hamstrung without Bodie. I think we can survive. Likewise, Matt Duffy's gone and whatnot. Lala's signed, which is great news. Dylan Hunt signed, which is great news. So things are happy in Auckland. Remember, we did have a bit of a disruption in terms of the Blues guys not being able to train while we were having stricter COVID restrictions than the rest of the country. So maybe that'll be a slight factor, but hopefully not. The bookies, in terms of the predictions, have got the Blues as your second favourite team behind the Crusaders. So let's hope that the Blues can get things done. Anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts on the Blues for 2021 Super Rugby Aotearoa. Do you think they can be a contender, or are they still going to be 1 yard off the pace? Can you see the Highlanders pepping them? they've got a new coach, a whole bunch of new players. The Chiefs surely can't be as bad as last year. The Hurricanes on paper may be going to have a tough time, but man, it's always very competitive, and the Crusaders will always be there or thereabouts. Anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts. Talk to you guys soon. See you later. It's definitely our year, man. Definitely our year. 100%.